In a few different videos, I've discussed various concepts related to helping your mind be consciously aware of its own thoughts and what's going on in your environment. That's the essence of mindfulness, and it's a powerful tool for enabling motivation and positive behavior change. I've included links to those videos here if you want to check them out. Today, I want to briefly discuss why it's important to have that awareness, meaning that mindfulness. I've been looking for an analogy to help illustrate the idea of mindfulness and why it's so important, both to motivation and behavior change. Recently, an idea occurred to me that I think captures this concept pretty well. It combines a couple of different ideas from some different books. In his book, The Power of 50 Bits, author Bob Neese delves into the topic of designing ways to help people make decisions and take actions that are in alignment with their underlying desires and intentions, and that are often also in their best interests. For example, how do you use 50 bits design to get people to save for retirement or to keep important prescriptions filled? The underlying premise of the book is that the human brain is wired for inattention and inertia. So without some kind of cleverly designed intervention to get your attention, those decisions and actions often succumb to the inertia of inaction. This idea of inattention and inertia is one of the primary reasons people don't save enough, or sometimes anything, for retirement, and why they don't refill prescriptions for medicines that they need. I borrowed this idea of inattention and inertia from Bob Neese. In their book, Switch, authors Chip and Dan Heath discuss a framework for helping people and organizations make change so that it's less painful and more likely to actually take hold. They describe how getting people to make a change is like trying to influence a person who's riding an elephant. The rider is the rational, information-seeking part of you, and the elephant is the emotional, impulsive part of you. If you can't convince both the rider and the elephant to change course, your efforts to implement that change are unlikely to succeed. I won't go into any more detail here because that's not what this video is about. I just wanted to give Chip and Dan credit for the idea of a rider on an elephant, which I borrowed and applied to the context of mindfulness. And even though this isn't a review of the book Switch, I highly endorse it, and all of their books for that matter. So how is mindfulness like riding an elephant? Think of the human rider as your executive brain, the part of your brain that's capable of thinking about yourself, the future, doing planning, making rational judgments, etc. The elephant represents your primitive, impulsive brain, the part that feels emotions and reacts to thoughts you have and to the things that happen around you. The job of your human rider is to keep your elephant from undermining your good intentions and long-term goals by giving into your impulses. Unfortunately, the deck is stacked against them. All is not lost, however. You have a powerful tool at your disposal that you can use to help your human rider succeed. It's called mindfulness. Like all animals, your elephant is highly attuned to everything in your environment. It'll react to anything new or particularly stimulating unless your human rider notices it first and does something about it. That's the inattention part of the problem. Those triggers can take the form of a particularly tempting treat, a potential mating opportunity, a snarky comment from a coworker, or a juicy piece of news or gossip. Once your elephant is moving in a certain direction, your human rider might as well let go of the reins. There's very little they can do to stop the elephant at that point. That's the inertia part of the problem. And its effect is powerful whether the elephant is moving because it was triggered or simply because it's following the well-worn path of a habit. When you check your email inbox for the 47th time today, or mindlessly reach for that cigarette or piece of candy without even noticing that you're doing it, that's your elephant's inertia in effect. If your normal pattern of behavior in those situations is to rely on your self-control to keep you out of trouble, it's like closing the barn door after the horse, or the elephant in this case, has already escaped. Actually, it's more like not closing the barn door at all because you didn't even notice the horse left. But if your human rider can see the trigger coming, they can take steps to mitigate or even prevent the automatic, impulsive response of your elephant. They can cover the elephant's eyes, so to speak, or they can distract it by turning it to face a different direction, giving it something to eat, or pointing out something else that's nearby. The only way your human rider is going to recognize those triggers, though, is if you practice mindfulness. As a side note, in the case of someone with ADD, ADHD, this analogy can be more like riding a bull instead of an elephant. The mind of a person with ADD is even more prone to random, distracting thoughts and susceptible to environmental triggers. As such, their brains lurch back and forth from one thing or idea to another. While it can be more challenging for a person with ADD to learn mindfulness, they can benefit from it tremendously. I hope you found this analogy helpful. By keeping this concept in mind, I think you'll get even more out of the other videos I mentioned at the beginning. And I've included links to them again here in case you're more interested in checking them out now. If you like this video, please click the like button and share it with your friends. If you want to learn more about how you can supercharge your motivation, check out my website by clicking on the logo below. My goal is to help you with your motivation challenges. If you have a specific problem you'd like help with, you can reach out to me directly at rich@themotivationmindset.com. Thanks for watching.